There was when we been there one. Okay, I think this is better. There one. There was. We're here for another live. I'm going to be quick with this one. But we are going to go ahead and get started once we get about 10 people in here because I want to go quick. Today I'm going to be discussing ako, the concept of ako. Some people may be familiar with the term ako nuche, which is in like casual talk is often said as like intelligence and wisdom, right? But it goes like everything, it goes way deeper than that. So I'm going to be discussing the concept of ako, but specifically the three sources of ako, and in a sense, what makes human beings special, right? Because it is through ako that human beings derive what makes them different from the rest of the animals in creation that we're aware of. Snapple and Cats, and there, whoa, Monday, and there, whoa. Always good seeing you. I'm trying to get this, I don't know why my angle is off. I don't know why my angle is off. Hold on, I'm using my feet to adjust this thing here. All right, there. I think that's good. I need to like tape this down. But yeah, there will no. All right, so what? 8, damn. All right, once we get 10 people, we got 2 more people to go. We got 8 people in here, and 4 of them have not hit like. They are clearly new. Maybe they haven't been here before. Maybe they don't know how it works. But if you are in the live, go ahead and hit like. Go ahead and if you are in here, go ahead and hit like. Go ahead and hit like. We've got 3 people who don't know how we do things in here. So if you are new, anybody that's in here, we hit the like button. We always make sure that we got 9 people in and 9 likes. It always has to match. It always has to match. Let me see if I can turn the chats on. Okay. Ndewo. Ray X says Ndewo. Ndewo one Ndewo. I'm learning a lot from you. Ndewo one, I appreciate it. I'm really trying to get back on track with my more traditional videos, right? The full form video essay videos. And so more of those are going to be coming very, very, very soon. You know, I always do my duty. Snapple and Cats. Snapple and Cats is a 5-star general in the chat. Yeah. I know now. I know. Dewo, udonando. Udonando. It's peace and life. Udonando. Udonando. That is peace and life. Peace and life. Let's see, we got one. If we can get 1 more person in here, we'll go ahead and get started. If we can get 1 more person in here, we can go ahead and get started. So if you know anybody who would be interested in this topic or these topics, go ahead and send them the link, send them on Facebook Messenger, send them a text, put it in your WhatsApp group, whatever it takes to get that 1 more person in here. Post it on Instagram, post it on Twitter, post it on Facebook. Whatever it takes to get that 1 more person in here. If we can get 1 more person in here, I'm going to go ahead and get started. The concept is the 3 sources of intelligence, right? Where ako comes from.
Why did you eat snow when you were at Jericho and were little?
Because snow it's just frozen water.
But it was on the ground. That's so gross.
That's gross? Yes, it's very gross. Oh, man. My son came to call me out for eating snow when I was a child. All right, we got 10 people in here. He said, all right, let's go ahead and start. So today's topic is going to be on ako. Today's topic is going to be on ako. Most specifically, the 3 sources of wisdom, 3 places that wisdom comes from, or intelligence. Let's call it intelligence. Though, again, it's very hard to define these things with English terms. So hopefully my explanation gives you a wider idea of what ako could possibly be, okay? But as always, with everything that is in the ancestral tradition, and I myself a representative of my ancestors, so long as I represent them, I'm going to begin things the way my ancestors began them. And my ancestors began things by breaking Oji. But we're going to do Itunzu, right? So this is not necessarily breaking Oji. We're just going to use Nzu this time, which is no better or no worse. But what I have available is Nzu, so we're going to do it. Nzu qualifies, okay? Kambido. okike kere ụwa alawa ala nne mmadụ na nne mmụọ Chineke nyere anyị ụwa ọjị abịala Chukwu bụrụ ụwa ose bụrụ ụwa nke na-enye ndụ nke na-enye ihe ọma nke na-enye akọ nke na-enye uche ọjị abịala nke m ji n'aka taa na ebu nzu mana a sị na nzu bụ mmiri na mmiri bụ ndụ eji m ndụ n'aka okwu m na-ekwu bụ okwu ndụ okwu ndị ichie na ndị ọkpụ ndị mgbu na ndị ekede ndị mmadụ na ndị mmụọ mmụọ na-esoro anyị na mmụọ na-enye anyị ndụ na-enye anyị ike na-enye anyị ije anyị na-aga n'ụwa na anyị bụ otu mana aka nke m ji ọ dị ọcha nke m ji buru ụfụ m ọ dị ọcha obi m dị ọcha ihu m dị ọcha ọnụ m dị ọcha ụkwụ m dị ọcha ije anyị na-aga bụ ije okike kere ka anyị gaa n'ụwa anyị anaghị achọ iro anyị anaghị achọ nsogbu anyị achọghị ịghọta nke dị n'aka onye ọzọ ọ bụ sọnsọ nke chi kere ka anyị ghọta ka anyị chọrọ ịghọta n'ụwa nke anyị ga-aghọta mana okwu a ga-ekwu nke taanị bụ okwu gbasara akọ na uche ọ bụ ya ka anyị ji aga ọ bụ mma anyị ji aga n'olili ọ ga-adị nnọọ n'eke n'orie na afọ na nkwọ ise ndewo ise ndewo unu niile ndewo. Let me give you all nzu ka ebido oya. Today's talk, hey, the great Ross Jones, Uche Chukwu, Uche Ligwe, kedu ka ide? All right, Chimoga, I see you. Your Igbo makes me laugh sometimes. You make me laugh sometimes too, you know? You make me laugh sometimes too, you know? And however you meant yours is how I meant mine. So yeah. Odemma, Kaibido, let us begin. All right, so what we are going to be discussing today is Ako, right? We're going to be discussing Ako na Uche, specifically Ako. And we're going to be speaking specifically on the sources of intelligence, right? So the reason I want to have this discussion is I've been very fascinated with octopuses very recently. Pretty random, but they are an amazingly intelligent animal. In the area of mathematics and pattern recognition, they are said to be either half as intelligent as human beings, or specifically in pattern recognition, more intelligent than many human beings or the average person, right? In many tests of pattern recognition, octopi tend to score higher than the average human being does. They are able to solve several mathematical problems quicker than the average person is able to piece them together unless that person is of a very high intelligence, right? The octopus has 9 brains. Each of the octopus's arm has its own brain, right? And then it has its own central brain, and they operate independently. So when you look at an octopus, you're looking at a decentralized intelligence. You're looking at a team of minds rather than a single mind. And perhaps this is what gives them the intelligence that they seem to have when it comes to figuring out things that are mathematical. But for some reason, right, human beings seem to do more with that same idea of intelligence than octopuses do, or octopi do. I think the full term is octopi. Human beings tend to do more with the idea of intelligence than octopi do, because the octopus has one source of intelligence. maybe two. Let's call it one and a half, right? The human being has three. And it is that third one, right? It is the third one that gives us our humanity. It is the third one that gives us our humanity. And I want to talk about it today because I want people to reassess what they understand about this third concept that gives us our humanity, right? The first source of intelligence is internal, right? The first source of intelligence is internal. There are things within you. There are things within you that have always been with you, that you carried into creation with you. Oftentimes you think that you are learning these things, or something from the outside is telling you these things, and then from there, you're adding something to yourself. But the truth is, they've always been in there. And when something you respect, or something you honor, or something you hold to a high esteem reveals that same thing, it opens up within you, right? So they're really just checking off a box that was already there rather than putting something new inside you, right? This is the first source of intelligence, the one that is already within you, right? Nobody sits an octopus down and tells an octopus how to solve puzzles. Nobody sits the octopus down and tells the octopus how to arrange patterns, how to get through mazes and so forth. But for some reason, the octopus is able to do these things with greater ease than most human beings, right? We see all types of animal intelligences. We see intelligences that animals display, and very few animals, next to no animals except like some mammals, I think dolphins, orcas, and others, have the capacity to teach each other. They don't teach things, just these things come out of them, right? And if it's like that in creation, it is like that with us as well. Many of the things you think you learned, you did not learn. It was revealed from you. It was brought out of you, right? There are certain things that maybe you don't like school, and somebody will take you to school, and maybe you don't respect what's going on, and they'll teach you this thing 100 times, right? 100 times, 100 times. Then somebody you respect says it to you, and it clicks immediately. But the 100-time teaching, it didn't happen, right? It had nothing to do with putting something in you. It was that institution failed to bring that light out, or maybe you were holding it from them, so on and so forth, right? So that is the first one. This particular intelligence is your most powerful intelligence for an individual. It is the most powerful intelligence for an individual, right? Because you would be shocked at how deep it goes and how far it goes and how much what you consider learning is just crutch seeking and validation seeking. And once you let go of the idea of needing a crutch to speak and needing validation to speak, you'll be very shocked at how much you know about certain things. You'll be very shocked at where this thing comes from, this knowledge comes from, right? So that is the first source, is within you, right? Ako, ako. The second source is around you, right? There's an ilu that says, Ibem zimako, my peers show me ako. Very closely related to what I was saying with the revealing it within, right? Very closely related. But there are some things that cannot be learned without experience, right? There's an ilu that says it's a very popular one, right? A small child who travels is wiser than a gray-haired man who sits still or who stays home. A small child who travels is wiser than a gray-haired man who stays home, right? Meaning that experience is wisdom, the ability to move around and see things and experience the world, right? So as you are pulling knowledge or revealing light from outside of yourself, the light from the world is also coming into you if you're willing to accept it and take it in, right? The octopus has this. It has this one. This is the half one I was talking about, right? Human beings have this one as well, right? Of course, we have this one as well. We can learn from our environment, that kind of thing. There are certain environments somebody will grow up in and they'll just be more adept to something than another person just because of where they're at, right? Just because of who they were exposed to, just because of their experiences and their opportunities and so forth, right? What they were able to allow to come in, right? So there's the ako that comes from each other, right? I na ako, right? The speaking, that type of thing, speaking back and forth to each other, right? But the superpower that human beings have, the source of your humanity, what makes you a human being, right? The thing that makes you, that makes it so we're not ruled by octopuses, right? That particular intelligence is that third one that I was talking about, right? This is the one that, to my knowledge, right, to my current knowledge, we're the only species that have this. And there's a lot of value to it. And we should be mindful, and we should hold it definitely hold it in a higher esteem than sometimes we tend to. Though I don't think anybody in my audience has this issue, right? I definitely don't think anybody in my audience has this issue. I think the public, probably outside of my audience, maybe, And that is the ako that comes from time, right? Because even if an octopus is able to figure out something faster than a human being, if I figure that thing out, I can let my descendants know about that what I figured out. And they can let their descendants know. And they can let their descendants know. And they can let their descendants know. So that if this chain of ancestral knowledge continues over time, every single time we are faced with the octopus, against the octopus, and solving this puzzle, we will always move faster, quicker, more accurately, more efficiently, right? Because we have the ability to collect what we have learned and pass it to the next generation, right? We also have the ability to receive from our ancestors. Oftentimes, we hear this idea that history is taught because we don't want to repeat the mistakes of history. And I think that is like 10% of the reason, right? Most of history is not a mistake. If most of history was a mistake, we'd all be dead, right? Most of history is a series of victories. So it's not necessarily mistakes that we're talking about in history. The majority of history is a series of mysteries, challenges, overcoming those challenges, new discoveries, survival, all these different things. So that's not necessarily what's going on when it comes to history, right? History is a parcel, a part of the singular mind that we have with those that came before us and those that are going to come after us. We share a mind with them. And according to our ancestors, the mind has many different parts and parcels, right? Many different pieces, not just one thing, right? There's the idea of uche, right? The uche that your ancestors received, you will receive, right? What is uche? Uche is wisdom from beyond all three of those elements that I listed. Uche doesn't come from time. Uche doesn't come from environment. And uche doesn't even come from within. Uche comes from beyond. Uche is wisdom that is given to you from Chineke, from the creator, from beyond self. That thing that goes boom, right? A new parcel of information that, or wisdom or knowing that didn't exist before, but it came specifically to you. For those of you who are Christians or ex-Christians, all of those prophecies you see that the prophets keep getting from God, that's all uche. The whole thing is uche, right? The Bible is a series of, this person received uche, messed up. This person received uche, messed up, over and over and over and over. That's uche, right? It's divine inspiration. It has nothing to do with what you think or feel, right? Obu ozi chuku, a message from God, right? A parcel from God, that kind of thing, right? So there's, the mind has many parcels. One of them is uche, many parts, right? The capacity to receive uche, abuche. The brain or the mind, let me say the brain. The mind in Igbo is referred to as apauche, apauche. The bag of uche, right? The bag where uche comes to rest and go. But there's another saying that says uche na bia, right? Uche comes and goes, right? It doesn't stay, just pew, pew, that kind of thing. So that's one. The other one is ako. And one of the things I talk about on my channel is the fact that our African ancestors, do not see the individual as an individual. Individual is a branch in a tree that goes back to the beginning of time, the beginning of creation. You're a branch in the tree that goes back to the beginning of creation. Most of what you're doing in ancestral spirituality, or Denanin Debo, right? Most of what you're doing is acknowledging your full self, right? Your Aka, which the video on this one's coming. It's gonna be a very good one. You're acknowledging your full self, your Aka, right? Your spirit, your whole self, right? Your Ezumezu, your EU, right? All those different things. So the you that goes from beginning and the you now and the you to come are all a continuous book, and you are a page in the middle of a great story, right? So that story, anytime you're reading a story, there's an accumulation of akko. You are revealing things as things are being revealed as they go, which makes the next page relevant, which makes the next page able to exist. And then that page will accumulate a set of knowledge, intelligence, knowing that goes on to the next page and allows it to live, and on and on and on and on. So history is the practice of acknowledging the collective mind we have had with human beings from the beginning, right? It's a part of, it's acknowledging that collective mind we've had with human beings in the beginning, right? And it is a part of understanding the collective mind of human beings that are to come. We are all of one mind. The way I learn things when I'm 7, there are things I learned when I'm 7 that are useful to me now, right? There are things I learned when I was 4 that are useful to me now. There are things I learned when I was 22 that are useful to me now, or that I know now. It's not going to go away, that kind of thing, right? The accumulation. There are things I learned in 500 BC, right, that are relevant right now. There are things I learned in 1910 that are happening right now. There are things I learned in 1960 that are happening right now. All of those different things. And if you're particularly adept at understanding what's actually going on when you're looking at history, there are things I learned in 2050 that I'm dealing with right now. There are things I learned in the year 2100 that I'm dealing with, that I'm processing right now, right? That kind of thing. Because that's what's going on when you're doing history. You're acknowledging your full self, right? But who typically will tell you, oh, we're trying to learn to stay away from the mistakes of blah, 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 right? I think that's a very Christian, like post-Christian idea. It's a post, because then any other explanation of history sounds spooky, right? Because it's ancestor worship as they define it. That's all it is, right? It's ancestor veneration. That's what history is. And why would you venerate your ancestors? Because that's you. That's all of that is you. All of that is a part of the story that makes you, and it accumulates and accumulates and accumulates and accumulates. And you reach this point where you know your full self, right? Or you know a great deal of yourself, because you're able to acknowledge that you go beyond this physical shell, and even your own spirit and everything. You go beyond, you're bigger than that, right? But it's hard to say that without going into the territory that we regularly are in. Some people don't. So when you don't have that particular foundation for understanding, all you can say is, oh, so we don't learn the mistakes of the past because it's important. Did all these different things, right? That kind of thing, right? So it is an accumulation of akko from beginning to now. And if you're adept at understanding that akko that you've received, right, that's been avalanching, right? That avalanche of wisdom, the snowball of wisdom that has been snowballing over time, you will also understand that it's an accumulation of what is to come as well. It's all in there. It is all in there, right? There's an ilu that says, and then let me also be clear. Uche is also used for general thought, general thinking, just the mind, period, right? The functions of the mind, right? Most Igbo words, you can use them casually and then you can go deep on them, but there's nothing wrong with using them in their casual form as well, right? So there's an ilu that says, what is it? Yes, otuche anagiechu. Otuche anagiechu, right? The wisdom of one person does not satisfy. There's another ilu that says, otu osisi abugi ohia. Otu osisi abugi ohia. One tree is not a forest, right? One tree is not a forest. One person's wisdom is insufficient, right? So this understanding of history, these three sources of intelligence, that's what makes you a human being, right? Part of the dehumanization process, if somebody wants to dehumanize another person or dehumanize another group of people, is to cut that person away from the idea of history, right? Because now you're like the octopus. The octopus has a history, but it doesn't acknowledge, it has no known capacity to acknowledge it. It is not part of what its chi designed it to be in the world and do, right? It is not part of what the chi of the octopus designed the chi to do, right? So one of the first things that is done in the process of dehumanization is to cut an individual from their history. This is why history has a great deal of library burning, right? Which is an Irishi. Libraries are an Irishi. If you know what an Irishi is, you'll know that that's a library. A library is an Irishi. There's a great deal of library burning in the world. There's a great deal of temple burning in the world. There's a great deal of Irishi burning in the world. There's a great deal of artifact stealing and burning in the world. There's a great deal of historic revisionism in the world. Over and over and over. Once the physical fight is over, the next thing that you see come in a wave, not that it wasn't happening prior, in a wave is the spiritual fight, right? And those things get targeted. They said that the second biggest library in Africa was in Kano, the northern Nigerian city of Kano, right? The northern Nigerian city of Kano, and it was burnt down by the British. An Hausa person needs to confirm this for me. This is what I've heard, right? Big timeline. Yeah, right. It was burnt down by the British. The British went all over Africa. I remember when they at the end of the I think is the Ashanti Anglo War, they found that the apex leader in the community had a library, had a collection of books. You can't find them anymore; they're gone. And then, of course, we hear about the libraries of Timbuktu and things like that. There are so many families in Timbuktu with hidden books that they don't show anybody. If you ask them if you have books, they'll say no. That kind of thing. They pass it on generations, but they don't tell anybody. There's a lot of artifacts in Igbo land. Let me not say too much, but there's a lot of artifacts in Igbo land that people don't, that they hold, but they don't announce. They don't tell people. That kind of thing, right? And somebody's actually people have even let me know, hey, look what I got, just because of what I do and that kind of thing, right? They target dances, they target languages, they target storytelling to all of that, yeah, all of that. All of it gets targeted, right? Hair, shave your hair. That's kind of weird, right? What's that about? There's a lot of hair shaving, Maybe I need to make a video on that. All those things. So yeah, that's the part of it. Once you take away a person's humanity, they can be whatever. If you need them to be XYZ, they'll be XYZ because you've made it blank, right? You've cleaned. Somebody told me about everything I'm talking about is conceptualized in the awful, right? The word awful, if you break it down etymologically, it's what remains. Awful. It's in my name, awful. The what remains, awful, right? It is the staff. That is the staff that passes down from generation to generation to generation, right? First son to first son to first son to first son to first son, right? In Igbo culture. And then everybody else all the other sons have their own awful. They start their own and they pass it down to their sons and that kind of thing, right? And you never clean the awful. You don't clean your awful, right? So if I go there and I pour nzu on my awful, which I don't have one, if I go there, ulama, become about truzo. Yeah. If I go and I pour nzu on my awful, right? That nzu is going to remain on my fall for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 generations. The next person the person that picks that thing up in the year 3000, there will be little remnants of that nzu I poured on there. It is a physical representation of what I am talking about now. The constant accumulation of wisdom, experience, existence, embodied in the form of the awful, so that you understand that this thing is at the core of your humanity because it represents that continuous you, and it will remain after you live. Isn't your hair analogous to Earth's vegetation? Mazi, I can see what you're saying. Yeah, probably. Your memory of your past is largely stored in your hair. Interesting, as well as your physical strength. You shave, you're giving them weakness and ignorance of their own history. Interesting. They target everything, even down to the most minute pleasure. Absolutely. Yeah. Notice, despite having so many different resources, history is much easier disappeared and obscured in the West with people not knowing very much. Yeah. A lot of it goes in the fact that a lot of people are not interested too, right? And there's another thing. There's another thing about history. I'm trying to remember the Ilu. I think it's yes. Ejike anwụ ọgwụ. Ejike anwụ ọgwụ. Ejike anwụ ọgwụ. It is strength that we use to drink medicine, right? And I need to say this too. This is very important. It is strength that we use to drink medicine. So how do I reconcile that with what we're talking about? A lot of the reason why history gets lost is because for a lot of people, it is hard to take in, right? It doesn't taste like food all the time. Sometimes it tastes like food. There's a lot of entertaining episodes in history, but a lot of the time it tastes like medicine. A lot of times it's very bitter. A lot of times it's very hard to look at. A lot of times it's not something that feels good to consume. It's not a pleasure. It's not pleasurable, right? So in this Ilu, right, a lot of history requires strength to be honest about, right? And to look into honestly, right? One of the things I did when I started the channel is I joined like a lot of like Africa groups on like Facebook. I said, okay, I'll share my link here. I think these people will be interested in what I'm talking about. And those groups kind of drive me crazy because like they just get spammed with like fake history. It's just fake history spam. Boom, boom, boom. And there's no European doing this. There's no, them doing this, right? It's just people taking like a picture of like Morris Chestnut, putting a little Egyptian hat on him, talking about this was King Hammatuti in Egypt, blah, blah, blah. The Egyptians used to fly. They can fly and shit. They were green for real. They weren't even black. Were Moors. All that stuff. There's a lot of that. And then I think that's a symptom of people trying to use history as a pleasure. A history as a way to feel good, right? Look at it and make you feel good. Don't look at the stuff that is. We hear all the history that doesn't make us feel good all the time. It's a natural response. I get it, right? And this happens at home too. I'm not just talking about, this happens really badly at home, right? Severe at home. I think Nigeria allegedly, I can't confirm this, has a policy of not teaching history, especially specific episodes in history, because if too much history was taught, the whole thing will unravel. The whole country of Nigeria just wouldn't exist, right? So in a lot of places in Nigeria, there are like big blots out in history. So it gets filled with all this stuff too, right? You understand? But some episodes of history, they don't feel good. They don't look good. They're not. It's not an enjoyment thing. It's bitter, right? Psychology, it's bitter, but it's healthy, right? And you look at it as it is. And I'm not looking at this to feel good. I'm looking at this to get the actual facts about my reality, right? My reality that was, is, and is to come. I'm looking at this thing to get the actual facts so that I can operate accordingly. If you go buy a car, right, you want to get the car facts, and you want those car facts to be accurate, right? You don't want to see the car facts that make you feel good. You don't want to hear, this car fact says that I'm actually, turns out I was actually the pharaoh, let me go ahead and buy the car. You don't want to do that. You want to know, has this many miles, has this problem, that problem, this problem. Every time you turn left, it makes this noise. Every time you turn right, it does so and so, but I only got about $500, so this is the car I'm going to get, right? That kind of thing. You want to know that, okay, it's had 2 accidents. So if I want to sell this, I'm not going to get much for it, that kind of thing. So that if I have the actual facts about this vehicle, when things arise, when issues arise, I'll understand them. I'll understand how to take care of this vehicle better so that I don't have these issues arise, right? Okay, you're going to need to do an oil change every 2 months on this one, right? It's kind of old, that kind of thing. Good to go. All right, here you go. Here's my money. Let's do the 2-month oil change, right? Oh no, there's nothing wrong with it. This is the best car. You're the pharaoh. Then you drive it in 3 months in, things start going crazy. You're asking yourself questions. You start saying all types of stuff that don't make sense, right? So history is like the Carfax, right? And if you treat history like the Carfax, you'll get a lot more out of it. You'll understand a lot more. Things will start making a lot more sense. And a lot of the things that people go to ease the anxiety of how stressful history is, they become unnecessary, right? The actual facts are fascinating enough. The actual facts are affirming enough. You don't need to be a Hebrew. You don't need to be a Moor. You don't need to be a damn, what do you call them? Right? You don't even need to go check the actual facts. Not even of your ancient history. Go 3 generations back. The actual facts of your history are more than enough, right? Of your specific history are more than enough. You don't need all that other stuff. And when you get those actual facts, okay, grandpa was an alcoholic. Okay, I'm gonna stay off the bottle. It's that simple, right? Oh, for 6 generations, everybody in my family has been very successful in music. And here I am trying to go into, I don't know, Bitcoin. Right? Maybe I'm not a crypto bro. Maybe my inclination to make this mixtape is valid. 6 generations we've been doing this, and here I am trying to sell Bitcoin. Let me drop this mixtape, man. That's who I am. That kind of thing, right? That's what it is, right? And it's not always mistakes. That the history of success in your family, right, or failure, all those things are the same amount of alcohol, right? So the same way that I talk about the 3 different sources, right? There's the one that comes from within, and then there's the experience, the one you get from your peers, the one you get from experience in life and moving through life and that kind of thing, right? If you knew that your life goes beyond 5,000 years, how much have you experienced and how much do you know? And how much do you gain from knowing this thing? That's why when you go to your altar, you use your ancestors' names, you learn your ancestors' stories, right? And you approach them as they are, who they are, that kind of thing. Oh no, your grandfather Ebuka, he would never eat pork. He was an Nze. He says that he can't eat pork because of being Nze. Okay, when I'm having my little pepperoni pizza, I'm not going to offer it in my altar. Okay, that kind of thing. Maybe that's why I keep getting this rash. Maybe he was getting a rash, right? And then he stopped eating pork and it went away, and then maybe I should consider doing the same thing. Okay, that kind of thing. Huh, that's weird. My Igbo ancestors, whenever they began a meeting, they broke an orji in pieces and they all ate the orji. That's interesting, right? That's interesting. Well, let me look and see what the orji does. Okay, the orji is good for blood pressure. The orji is good for anything cardiac, for the function of your heart. The orji is good for brain function. The orji is good for swelling, phlegm, all these different things, right? The orji is good, especially the bitter cola, is good for great for diabetes, right? Then you take the orji away and you start saying, oh, our people have diabetes because of McDonald's. Our people have obesity. Our people have heart problems. Our people have this. Our people have this. Then you look at your actual history, not some nonsense about someone in Morocco, right? Look at your actual history. Okay. Okay, I get it, right? Maybe I should add orji to my diet. Maybe I should break orji when I meet somebody, right? Or when somebody comes to my house, hey, take a piece of this, that kind of thing, right? They might get suspicious. They don't know what you're doing. They might know what you're doing, Musician trying to sell Bitcoin. Oh shit, man. Hold up. Hell, I was a Nuwapian before all this, and Lord did it. Isn't that Brother Polite? Brother Polite is so intelligent. He's like a person. It's like someone that uses like a stealth bomber to pick up trash. You know. Oh man, that guy's brain works so magnificently. If he applied it to something else, he'd be on another one. But yeah, I realized they were a cult and had to be up out of there. Oh my gosh, where have you been for months now? Is this Son of Nook? And there, well, I've been here, the Hotepery. And shout out to my Hoteps. I've been called a Hotep, so I'm cool with it. I'm an advocate for the Hoteps. I remember what you said about knowledge and more. Fourth layer, yes, believes the arrow and the crown chakra. Yes, this is exactly, Ross, you got it, Uchechi. This is exactly what I'm talking about. It's that fourth layer, that accumulation space, the apa. Well done. They target, okay, cool, I'm caught up. All right, yeah. No, it's Dr. York. Oh, ooh, okay. He was one at one point. Okay, now what you okay. Cool. More Egyptian, indigenous. I'm a Native American. And I'm not talking about just people in America. They got the whole we're the Jews. We got the whole we're the Jews thing in Igbo land too. It's the same problem. It's not just diasporic. Yeah, it's not just a slavery way. Yeah, no, it's not just diasporic. It's just I don't know. I don't know. It's just some weird. I don't know. I don't even. I think I have an explanation for it, but who knows? But yeah, I know it happens in Africa too. Everybody's from Mecca. Everybody's from Saudi Arabia. Everybody's from Israel. Whatever that means to people. That kind of thing. Low key, most of my life, I was basically a musician trying to sell Bitcoin. Oh man, I knew my dad was a great musician as a child. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, cool. But I never took that seriously myself until a few months ago. It's just sad how I got people in America thinking they're everything but West African. Yeah. Because the when you start talking about West African, we're talking about slavery. We're talking about all this painful shit, man. But it's what it is. It's history. It's history, right? And so, okay, I'm a West African. Every time in West Africa they have a meeting, they eat this thing that's good for heart, blood pressure, diabetes, right? All these different things. Boom, there's something there. I gained something. Right? Oh, I'm a Israeli or whatever fucking right? Okay, but I don't know. What do you gain from that? What do you gain from that? Just to be able to say you're cool, I'm cool, That's cool. That's cool, right? Whatever. Shout out to them. But yeah, that's it. 3 sources of alcohol, right? They're the reason when we're talking about our ancestors, we have to be factual, right? We have to be factual, we have to be honest, right? It is with strength that you drink medicine, right? Medicine always requires strength to swallow it. That kind of thing, right? You always use strength to swallow medicine. Okay, I need water for this, all that stuff. It's difficult, right? Candy, not so much. But a lot of people want to approach history from the perspective of candy. You can get there's plenty of that there, but there's medicine in there too, but it's tough to swallow. It's very tough to swallow. And when you start, like one of the things I've never wanted my channel to be like an aggrandizement channel or like a flexing channel. Like, oh man, the Igbos are so cool. I'm gonna talk about the bullshit my ancestors did. I'm gonna talk about the good things they did. It's all gonna be there, right? If you're here for, I got attacked during when I made the Osu documentary because I was putting things in there people didn't want said out loud. I got all types of emails, I had to cuss some people out in their native tongue, that kind of thing, So yeah, man. Yeah, the 3 sources of alcohol, the one that comes from within, the one you're naturally born with, right? How'd that person learn that? Oh, it's their natural talent, their natural ability. Oh, they were just born that way. That's just who they are, you know? Or perhaps that thing's in you, you haven't even been exposed to it, then you get exposed to it, and all of a sudden your proficiency is on a different level, right? There's a way that my son knows math that, like, I didn't teach him that. I watched him. I didn't. Nobody taught him that, and here he is, boom, 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 boom. You even see it with kids. Kids start saying words they've never heard before. You know they've heard. You've been watching their whole life. You know all 4 years of it. All of a sudden they start doing things and saying words you've never heard. They've never heard before. What is that? You know. Even a child in a womb starts doing things. They do very specific things that nobody's teaching them. So there's a knowledge that's within you, and it comes out. It shines outwards, right? It comes outwards. You know, if you give it if you give it a chance, oftentimes we have a lot of ideas and precepts that block it. If you give it a chance, it'll come out, right? Then there's the one you receive from the world around you. Ibim zim ako, my peers show me ako, right? So the people around you, right, are part of your mind. That's your brain that you're thinking. It's not just your thinking alone that gets things done, right? One tree is not a forest, right? One tree is not a forest. So, okay, my mind is not just me. My mind is also the people around me. That's what getting advice looks like. That's what learning from conversation, that's what learning from the experience of others looks like. That is the wisdom of empathy, right? That is the being able to read somebody's story and feel what they went through. And then all of a sudden, that's one of your experiences as well. I have that experience in my catalog, and I'm wiser for it. Good or bad, I'm wiser for it, you know? There's the one that you get from around you. Then there's that one that you get from time. That is what we have and the octopus does not have, right? Where we can accumulate knowledge from back then and then pass it on over there, right? One of the great achievements of human intellect is writing, right? Writing, being able to write. But I think about three civilizations developed writing. Just three. I think 3 or 4. No more, no more than like 8. No more than 8. But what happened? Others picked up the writing of one and learned it, and then they passed it to another, and they passed it to another, and they passed it to another. So like right now, everybody has a form of writing that they use, whether it's the one they like or not, right? But they all have a form they use. And they themselves did not independently develop it. It is this wisdom that came from one place and tumbled over here and kept going, right? And that's a part of being a human being, right? We're all each other's collective mind. We're all a part of each other's collective mind, okay? So I just knocked over my tray, which means it's time for me to go. I'm gonna take like maybe 2 questions and I'm hopping, right? Sounds like me after I put out my critique of Peter Ovi. Early hip hop was heavy on pseudo history. 5%ers talking about who the tribe is should pass. I like the 5%ers though, man. I think the 5%ers are okay, you know. I like all that, like even the ones based in false, like not all history, like this is gonna sound crazy, but false history is as valid as real history. This is going to sound really crazy, especially everything I said. False history is as valid as real history. But do not use false history to run away from real history. What am I talking about? A lot of the events in history are folklore. They never existed. It never happened. It's just folklore. We just keep walking around. They don't know if there was a man named Socrates. They don't know. They think it's like an egregore. They think it's something somebody made up. Right? One of the things I observed, just like looking at the Greeks, is that the Greeks have a lot of stories about a person claiming they discovered or did something, and then the gods killing that person. So, and then there's this theory that a lot of these people that we think were real people, probably Homer, Socrates, they probably weren't real people. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense based on their spirituality, because they're probably making up these figures, and they'll say something that they thought of, and they'll say Socrates said blah 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 blah, so that Socrates gets hit with lightning. And what happens in the story? Socrates pops off too much and they go kill him, right? That kind of thing. But knowing all of that is just as valid as knowing the actual events that happen, right? So there is something that does happen in a lot of like the Pan-African like movements where false history becomes a shield from real history. That is bad. That's counterproductive and it's destructive because the bad or good, whatever parts of history is going to teach you a lot about yourself, right? But a lot of what you think is reality is fake history. It's people making shit up. It's an imagination. It's a collective imagination. So, like for example, there are some things that 5%ers say that don't make any sense. But there's a lot that because of those fake things, right? They now have a foundation that they build a lot of real valuable things, right? They use that foundation and they build a lot of real valuable things. If as a 5%er, a person has to memorize the circumference of the earth, right? A person has to memorize the square mileage of arable land that's in the world, that kind of thing, right? But why are they doing it? Because of a pretense that's not necessarily 100% historical fact. The pretense for doing that, the inspiration is not 100% historical fact, but the result is great, that kind of thing, right? But if it was a matter of making up what they call the actual facts, right? Making things up, saying bullshit, then yeah, that'd be a problem. I don't necessarily, that's why I say I got a lot of respect for them as far as the way they approach their stuff and things like that. There's every system of belief has folklore. Folklore is not invalid. In the modern day, a lot of things that came in the industrial era and so forth, they don't call their folklore, they call it fact. But the issue is when you start using fake history and fake identity and false things to run from yourself. One of the things that Odinani is cool about is that it's not, the term the ancestors, right? That's not what we do. We don't really say the ancestors. You are going to find the specific name of your specific ancestor and learn exactly who that person was. And as you do the learning, you can learn there's a lot of fake stories about the person, a lot of real stories about the person, but the power is going to come from the real stories. Sometimes the inspiration will come from the fake stories, right? You ever hear about the kid, their dad was not necessarily the best person in the world, but the mom protected the image of the father. And then that protected image, even though it's kind of false, is an inspiration for the child until they meet the guy in real life. Like, oh, damn, you're not the guy from the story at all. Right? I've heard of that happening. It's a likely scenario, right? The mom knows what she's doing, right? She knows what she's doing. That false story is going to inspire something good. So yeah, everybody wanted that Phoenician alphabet. Yes. There's been different communication systems than just writing Europeans. Or yeah. There's exactly. Yeah, there's been so many. One of the issues with colonialism, right, is that it's like a weed. I can't remember what plant it is. I think it was a Japanese plant they tried to introduce to America. And this plant aggressively destroyed every other plant in its environment. And they decided to start regulating the import of seeds and things like that in the United States, right? I apologize for not being able to cite the exact name, that kind of thing. But this is a story that I know, right? And that, to me, is colonialism. That human collective intelligence we have, colonialism shrunk it and burned and slashed a lot of what was the diversity of the human creative mind, the human imagination, the human population, right? That kind of thing. It slashed and burned, and it continues to do that again and again and again and again. Even if we do it to ourselves, which it's a spirit, it's not a person. Colonialism is a spirit, it's not a person. I can take on that thing and do its mission, right? If you go home right now in Africa, the initial spark that came from colonialism is being carried out by African people, right? Not all of them, but there's a couple that carry that thing out. I think the governor in one of the states in Igbo land recently announced that there's an issue that youth are turning to idol worship, and that the government needs to do something about this. This is a governor, that the youths are turning to idol worship, right? But that same governor's name is idol worship. If he Googled it, if he knew what his name was, it's just that kind of nonsense. So it's going on at home. It's not That's why I don't get caught up on, that kind of thing, right? It's a spirit. Anybody can take on that spirit, right? Spirit called, let's call it civilization. That's the name of the spirit. But all right, guys, that's it. As always, hey, I just got Mizzou everywhere. As always, I just knocked this over. Hold on. Uno gato. Uno gade. Wait, before I do that, I forgot to send you guys off properly. Anybody who, if you want to support the channel and join our community on Patreon, go to patreon.com/the medicine show. Let me see if I can type it here for you guys. I want to see a couple new patrons. Patreon. What the hell is this? Patreon.com/the medicine show. Okay. So patrons get access to my full library. This is the library that I use for my own learning and my own research. It's an accumulation of research from different DBAs, NZs, academics, researchers, individuals with different knowledge, practitioners and stuff, all accumulated in there, sorted out by category. So whatever you're specifically interested in. Within it, I wrote a book, a very short book. I didn't saw my hand. A very short book that teaches you how to perform igofo, right? So if you want to call it prayer, call it prayer. How to pray in Odinani. So it's step by step, and then it tells you the different things you can say and what they mean in English and Igbo, both languages. If you have ancestors that speak English, using English as your altar is fine. That's fine. But if you have an Oji, if you have a kola nut, or if you have an Ofo, you have to speak Igbo, right? That kind of thing. But yeah, so that's in there, right? That's one of the things in there that you won't find anywhere else, as well as like really rare books. There's a lot of books. I think we're at like over 300 documents and books and things like that in there. So the library is there. The calendar lets you know what moon we're under. Our ancestors follow the lunar calendar, each moon having its own name and its own significance. And also tells you the different market days we're in. I have began following the pattern of my ancestors of using the Eke day as a day of rest. Now it's a compromised day of rest because there's some things I can't rest from because of previous engagements and things like that. And plus, a lot of people are not going to understand, hey, today's Eke, that kind of thing. So as much as possible, I use that as a day of rest and a day to connect with family. So if you're a patron and I'm slow to respond to something, maybe check if it's Eke. Maybe check if it's Eke day. But I use Eke as a day of rest and a day of spiritual renewal. So it's just me, my family, and my ancestors on that day. And if you want to follow in that tradition too, that's exactly how our ancestors did it. That's why the Europeans, they're Jews. They have a Sabbath. That kind of thing. That's why the Europeans started that rumor. That's one of the reasons they started that rumor. And so, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so yeah, it's all in there. It's all in there if you want to follow in that tradition. Patreon.com. Oh yeah, now we have a group study. Oh yeah, hold on, wait. Calendar. I need to teach Namdi how to type so he can help me with this. Calendar, and then group study, etc., where we just gather and have some of the best conversations ever made. That being said, and then also Igbo Language School at www.kedu.me. We're going to be having a pronunciation boot camp. So if you want to learn, which I need to go to, but if you want to learn how to fix if you speak Igbo, but you want to fix your pronunciation, we're going to have a 1-day boot camp. For anybody, you don't have to be a current student, but you can come in. It's also a good way to get a sample of how things work at Kedu. I developed the way we teach based on nature, right? By observing the most effective language learning program in the world, which is being a baby, right? That's a whole different thing. We'll have a different conversation about that. So that, and then of course, based on what our ancestors say about teaching and learning and knowledge and wisdom. And 3 months you'll be speaking Igbo language. 3 months. Kedu.me, www.kedu.me. If you're not speaking Igbo in 3 months, come back on this stream and tell everybody that I am a damn liar. That being said, uno gade, uno geto, nke ọbụla nnu tiri aka ọ ga-adị n'ụwa, ọ ga-adị nnọọ n'eke, n'orie, n'afọ, na nkwọ, ise. Thank you guys for everything. Take care.